feel silkier.
And perhaps most incredibly, your strength, flexibility, and energy. Amazing.
Wow. Crazy.
Well, salud. I'm loving it.
Go to www.vitalizerapp.com and make your smartphone brilliant.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Hi, this is Faith. Welcome to the Faith Washington Show. We will discuss life, business, leadership, family, and fun, and what happens when your view of the world expands. A wide variety of guests will provide insight on how they do business, family, and leadership in their lives. So now, here's today's show. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. This is the Faith Washington Show. I'm Faith Washington. We are live on Facebook, Periscope, 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, and the iHeartRadio app. Tonight I have a very special guest, Muriel Weiner, and she is the owner, operator of Designer Liners, which are these really amazing liner bags. And she is an entrepreneur. Obviously, folks, that's the type of people that are on my show. And Muriel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And her husband, Michael, is here too. He's sitting off camera. Apparently, he didn't want to feel like joining us. I don't know why, but it's all good.
It's his pants. It's his pants. I didn't like
Nobody
them.
can see your pants.
You want to come in, Mike?
Anyway, so Muriel, where do you hail from? Because I got a lot of people watching from New York.
We moved down here 2 years ago from New York City.
Yeah, we love NYC.
We love New York City. We love New York City. I was raised on Long Island.
Okay.
In a small town called Hewlett Neck. And then I moved to the city at the ripe old age of, I think, 23. And I lived there
You went to
ever
the
since.
city at 23 years old.
23.
Wow, it's
We
hardcore
all
girly.
did, though, in that day. In my day, that's what you did.
Did you go to have fun?
I went there to live, but I had a blast, actually. I had a lot of fun. Maybe too much.
No, it's all good.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, so give me a little bit about the history of entrepreneurship that kind of created this hunger in you to do your own thing.
Okay.
And then this is I spoke to Muriel and Michael before the show, and it's very interesting. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs out there have at least a little bit of history in their family about somebody doing their own thing and enjoying it. So
Okay.
tell us if you'd like to.
I had a stepfather. My mother remarried when I was 12 years old. My stepfather, he was an engineer, manufactured small motors for small appliances. And, it was summertime, and I was supposed to go to this factory, and I was supposed to hank a wire, which means you take the bottom of the wire and you go up and down and wrap it around until it's done.
Right.
So I did about 25 of these, looked at the clock, figured the day was over. And it was 5 minutes, and I thought, no, this cannot be adulthood. This is not my adulthood, not for me. So I guess I acted up. I'm sure I did, knowing me. And I guess the foreman or the manager said something, and I said, what are you talking about? I'm his daughter. And I got fired.
You got fired.
I got fired by my
Okay.
aunt.
Do you hear this, folks? In an entrepreneurial family, Muriel got fired by her own family.
I didn't want to hank the wire for 8 hours, 5 days a week. I'd rather choke myself with the wire than hank the wire.
So we see that as that indication of, wow, I don't fit into the box. I'm not going to be able to do a repetitive job
No,
day
can't
after
do
day
that.
after day
No can do.
and be okay with it.
No can do.
Okay.
So, and then my
Next step.
my real father's side of the family owned hospitals.
Okay.
And I worked in the hospital, and I thrived there. I did very well there. Of course, you have to do what you're told in a hospital.
Right.
But I was able to do that because I'm able to work with people.
You love people.
And primarily the hospital was filled with geriatric people.
Uh-huh.
So one day I put on a white coat because I was cold. Didn't realize that the elderly would think I was a doctor.
And
I got
they
stopped
did.
by two uncles. Why are you impersonating a doctor? I said, "No, I'm not." Looked down. I said, "Oh, never thought of it." And they, but I didn't get fired there. They didn't fire me. They liked me. And they
Good.
thought it was funny.
That's cute.
And so then I graduated from college and I worked for 1 year for, what kind of a firm was it? They recovered over-reported and overpaid taxes.
Okay, so
on
like
sick
is it like an
days.
accounting firm
It
of
was
some
like
sort?
an accounting
Okay.
firm, and there was selling involved and audits involved, and I did the selling and I did the audits.
Right.
I was going out with the president, and when that ended, so did my job. Did I have fun?
Oh
Sure.
my.
And then I was told to go to get a job by my father, and he always wanted me in the garment industry.
Oh, that's interesting. Why?
I have no idea. And so I went to this
Oh,
job.
you said hospitals, garment industry. I don't see the. I guess
like
I'm
the
not.
way I dressed, he thought that I should be
Okay.
in the garment industry.
In other words, your
Yeah.
fashionista style was
He liked the
showing.
way that I
Okay,
dressed.
got it.
And
That
he
makes
thought
sense.
that I would like it, and I didn't want to do it because I didn't like the people in the garment industry. They were a
Okay.
little too brash for me.
Okay.
And I have a great sense of humor, but I didn't think they were funny. So
They did.
I didn't think they were funny.
They thought they were funny.
So this man walks me in, and I'm sitting at a desk, and computers weren't even known then. And there was this great big box, and he said, "All right, go to work." So I looked at the box, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to turn it on, so I looked at the box for another 8 hours. So now I'm hanging wires, and I'm looking at a box. And the second day I was there, my father, who obviously knew this man, called me and said, "Go home and leave early, go home, get dressed because we're going to the theater." What are we seeing? He tells me. I said, "But I'm at work." He says, "Go to him and tell him you have theater tickets tonight." So after I looked at the box for 2 days, I said, "Listen, I have to go home early because I'm going to the theater." He said, "I have an idea. Why don't you not come back?" So I
I'm
was
dying.
extremely relieved once again. And the theater was La Cage. It was opening night. It was fantastic. I had the time of my life. And
And you
then what
didn't.
happened?
And you didn't go back.
No, I didn't. But I got on the bus the next day, the crosstown bus at 42nd Street.
This is awesome.
To go to do, I don't know, another stupid interview, which I was going to just fudge it because I didn't want it. And a girl was getting on the bus in front of me. Excuse my shoulder. It's
No,
frozen.
it's okay.
And she was wearing fabulous shorts. This is going back to the early 80s.
Okay.
So I said, "I really like your shorts. Where did you get them?" Over her shoulder, she goes, "Polo." I said, "Okay, thanks." And when she put her token in and I put my token in, we're face to face, and I knew her because I grew up in a very small town.
So you knew her from the small town.
I knew her from around this small town. I
Right.
said, "I know you. What do you do?" I
Right.
said, "I don't know. I looked at a box for 2 days, and he didn't want me to come back." She said, "It's called a computer." I said, "Oh." I didn't know. And what do you want to do? And I had just, in between the accounting firm that I worked for and this garment industry, I worked on 47th Street in
Okay.
the jewelry district.
Okay.
And I bought and sold gold, and I was called a hawk. I was the only female hawk in all of the jewelry district.
That's interesting. That's
Yeah,
really.
It was great.
That's
My most fun time in life. I
if-
do have to say, being in the street was my thing.
You have to kind of understand the gold districts and how things are run.
Years ago, gold went up to 800. So people were taking their nuggets, anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're filling anything, and they were selling it because they were getting fortunes of money for this. But then there were two brothers in Dallas, Texas, called the Hunt Brothers, and they destroyed the silver market, and down went the gold market in one night. Overnight, everybody got
Poof.
hit.
Yep.
That was the end of that.
Yeah.
And then I did that 2-day job, with the box in the garment industry.
Right. And you
Went to
said the great shorts, and then she
And it's-
introduced you to Susan.
And then I was sitting on the bus with this girl whose name was Leslie, and I said, "Listen, people are asking me for this and I don't know what it is, but I got to find out. And she says to me, oh, call Susan Bresler. So, and this is a shout out to you, Susan, if you ever find me. I walked into Susan's office, and she had a catalog open, like yours is open,
Right.
with all of the things that I needed, bags and umbrellas, and they wanted plastic cups like people drink, you know,
Right.
with their name on it. And CBS was my client. And I called, I said, I've got it. And I went over to CBS, and I went to the first woman, whose name was Monica. She was press. Monica bought a bunch of stuff, took me by the hand, and took me downstairs to CBS Sports. And that's how I began my career.
I'd say it's a pretty illustrious beginning.
It was a fun beginning, I got to tell you. We did very well together. I did all of the work for Calgary Olympics.
Wow.
Did a lot of, we didn't do all of it, we did a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a very, very nice time. And then, unfortunately, on a lot of different levels, we had 9/11.
Yes.
And the first thing to go when there's a disaster, of course, is seeing your name in lights. We all like to see our name in lights, but it's not necessary. So my budgets all got cut. And they still needed some things. Some things were necessary for a set or for whatever they need, you know, whatever they really
Right.
needed it for. But it was no way to make a living.
Right.
And I had been doing this for a long time.
It was the promotional advertising.
It was promotional
That's
advertising.
really what you
Really what
th-
I did.
that was the meat and potatoes of what and how you began
Right.
your career as a contractor. Really as
Right.
contractor and promoting things for other people. But what it allowed you to do and what I gleaned from this prior to, you know, our show is that, as I always state this to people, it's all about the relationships. It's all about the relationships that you build with clients. It is about, for you, you just weren't shy. You weren't afraid to go up and speak to anybody. And this is Muriel's motto,
wow.
TTP. What is
Talk
TTP?
to people.
Yeah.
Talk to people at the next table, on the bus. You never know what information you're going to learn and what information you can give them.
Exactly.
It's
It's
a
a
very important
sharing.
thing. I love the bus.
It's always a sharing.
I love the bus. There was a lot of talking. I had a bus driver on First Avenue on Saturday and Sunday mornings I had a very bad hip, and she watched me run down the street. Slow down, Muriel. I'm waiting for you. I knew the bus driver.
But that people underestimate the relationship building factor. And I think now so much because we're so involved with
Right.
these phones.
That ruined my life.
Yeah.
That and that box.
The computer and the phone,
Mm-hmm.
it takes away something from that personalization of the interactions. That's why I love doing this show, because I get to interact with the guests before and during the show. And
I think it's important for young people that are
Yes.
starting now
to understand how to build
to
a relationship and to
understand that
sustain
you can't
it.
ignore your
sustain
email,
it.
your phone, your
Nope.
text. You can't ignore it and hope to have a client. That
Bingo.
just doesn't work. You need to
agreed.
be in touch with your client
Agreed.
constantly. Your client's always right. I have given merchandise to places like CBS because something would happen. They would forget something. It was an emergency.
Uh-huh.
The manufacturer would charge me a fortune of money, and I really couldn't mark it up. It was
Yeah.
just wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. Gave it to them. I mean, they paid for what I paid for.
Right. But the thing is that you that built that relationship up, because you know internally her internal compass, okay, which we all have whether we listen to it or not. That internal compass helped to guide you in the right direction to build strong relationships with those clients. And without those strong relationships, you would have never had the business that you had at that time.
And integrity.
Mhm.
Integrity is very important, and you got to answer your phones if you have any
Yes.
integrity. You've got to. If you don't want to look at my stuff, you have an opportunity to say no,
Right.
but you have to give yourself the opportunity for people to show their wares and their goods and their ideas. You may be the next person to bust out and make something global. You don't know.
And,
I mean,
and
I made this up.
that piece that piece that you're talking about, the integrity piece, is I don't know if everybody understands what integrity is in this day and age. I'm sure they don't. Integrity is
woman after my own heart.
is wholeness. It is you acting the same across the board, whether you are dealing with clients, whether you're dealing with your spouse, your husband, your children, your friends, your family. You're lined up. In other words, you are consistently courteous, kind,
honest,
gracious, and honest.
That's right.
All these things come together, and they are part of what make our society work. And when we are not those things, then we're deviating from integrity, from our wholeness as human beings. And that's not a good thing.
I want to do the right thing. You know, I
because
don't
it
like,
feels good.
Yeah, I don't
Because
like
then
when
there's
people
no
don't
discord.
allow me to do the right thing.
Then
I don't like that.
There's no discord there.
I
then.
don't like that.
Yeah.
That annoys me. So we're getting back. Would you like to get back
I
to
would.
these?
You know what? I want to see some of your bags. If you could show us and tell us a little bit. Yeah, and tell us just a little bit about how they're created. I know you mentioned silk screening, which I thought was very cool.
Whole thing.
Okay,
I'm gonna do
cool.
it quickly.
Okay.
The name of this product is Designer with an R because I'm from New York. Liners.
I don't know if you can see.
Liners with an S because I have to tell you that too. Designer liners. I have to do that one. Came about because I was at home. I was sick. Something was broken on me, and I was not able to take care of cleaning the house. I couldn't do that.
Right.
That's the shoulder that's frozen, by the way.
Right.
And so somebody from my apartment building came upstairs to clean the house, and instead of going under my sink where I keep Glad bags, because I lived in one.
Take your mic and bring your mic closer there so we can hear.
I thank you. I had a one-bedroom apartment with one bathroom, so I figured, well, I could have a white Glad bag in there. Nice, right?
Right.
That's what So she went to the broom closet and took out a grocery bag from the neighborhood grocery store and put that in my wastebasket. And I looked at it and I said, I don't live like that. I don't want to live like that.
Okay.
And then when I really looked at it, there was a logo, you'll forgive me, smack in the bottom here of, there was no other, it was all white, but right in the
Got it.
bottom, you'll pardon me, like a Target, if only. And I said to myself, you know, life is very confusing. We all have a mess. Why not smile at your very own mess?
I like
so
that
I
because
came-
that's a double entendre there.
I got it. Our
Yeah.
insides get messy, our
Yeah.
outsides get
Our
messy,
homes.
life gets messy.
Life is messy.
Yeah, life is messy.
Life
But that's
is-
the Bissell
yeah.
commercial. I watch commercials, can do all
Sorry,
the jingles.
I don't watch them. I don't know the Bissell commercial.
So I made a bunch of patterns. So I did that. I figured out that I would call up my old manufacturers from the promotional advertising business. So I called the bad guy. And the bad guy said, nah, I can't do it. So I called another bad guy. Yeah, I can't do it. Well, I got a bad guy, and nobody wanted to do it. So I went to good old Safari,
Okay.
iPhone, and I looked up a manufacturer, found the manufacturer who said that he would be able to do this. Told this story to a woman in my apartment building who manufactured this. Here's another one you young'uns won't know. She used to design for Spring Mills, which made linens. Did you know Spring?
Yes.
Aha. Okay.
Yes.
That's what she did. So she brought me over the artist, and they did all kinds of renderings. for me.
Wow. That's
And
very cool.
It was. I still
that's
have the
you guys.
book.
That's like big time. Like if you're just starting out in a company and somebody from Spring Mills comes over
It was
to
unbelievable.
do some designing for you, you're like top of the food chain.
And so, really, truly.
Yeah, I'm
and
serious.
he charged me a whopping $500 because I was new. How cool is that?
Pretty cool.
And my father was there, and he's like, "Oh my god!" I did all of this with my father, who unfortunately passed away. So, anyway, so they did all of these renderings, and now my job was to take the renderings, make the renderings into graphic art, so that the art could be put on a screen, and then they screened them, and by the time I was done, I had a complete prototype. So when I went to places, I didn't have to describe it. I didn't have to
You
show.
could just show them.
Just the bag. I had a box which was way big. It was way too big. But I tried. I mean, I did it incorrectly, but you learn from
It's
your
okay.
mistakes. I mean,
but
it was fine.
that's failing forward. That's
this is how I
we
package
do.
them.
We fail forward.
Here's how it went. I put 75 bags into this big box. I was out. Somebody said, I want to buy that from you. How much is it? So I calculate in my head. I said, that'll be $75 here
Boom.
for you. So I gave it to her because she was a friend, but that's what
Right.
it costs to do a prototype, and had never really thought about it. So I originally did polka dots. Do you want me, how much?
Just show us.
I did.
Show us
here,
what you
I'm
got,
gonna-
which
and-
are they're very
And they're
cool.
folded
I want to look at
in their proper packaging, which this is not. They are folded inside out for your convenience, so that when you
So they
open
look a little
them,
dull.
when you open them, now let's try to find the.
Then they
top.
look really cool.
You open them and you put it. I'm going to take this one out. And I'm going to put this one in, and I'm going to try very hard with my
Oh, here we go. Look at
shoulder to put this in here. And when
very
it's
cool.
too,
Gray.
this
This
one's
is gray
too
and white.
big, right? This is too big for the bag.
Okay.
So what I have, I'm sorry about my shoulder.
No, stop apologizing, please. It's all good.
I just push it down and make it the length that I want it to be. And
Yeah,
the
that's
reason
great.
that I think that these lovelies are such lovelies is because when I decided to do this, my friend and I were on the telephone talking about the price of things.
Right.
And if you go to somebody's home for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
you have to bring a box of cookies, a bottle
Something,
of wine.
yeah,
You have to buy something like that.
Like flowers, what have you.
$20.
Just something, right.
$20. These are $10.
So you bring two.
You could bring two, you could bring three, you don't have to bring them at all. It was just an idea that if you are friendly with these people and you want to do something new,
Right.
and you want to say, hey, listen, I love the way you've done your
Mm-hmm.
house. Why don't you try using these? Because anybody can buy cookies. I buy
Right.
cookies. But this might be a nice gift.
And it's something that's functional, pretty.
Right.
It's sort of, and it sells your product too.
And it also can take,
like that.
for people that don't have a lot of money, it can take, a waste paper basket and make it look pretty. It can coordinate the bathroom.
right.
Just, it's the finishing touch, if you will.
Right.
And we also take these bags and turn them inside out again and use them as gift bags.
Oh, that's very cool.
Very cool. So we could take we have two.
Okay,
two in
so-
one. That's the Doublemint commercial.
The what? The Doublemint. Stop
Doublemint.
it.
I
Stop
can't
it.
help
You're
it.
like such an advertiser
I'm
every
telling you.
second of every day.
It's unbelievable. You want to hear the Buster Brown song? So here, you could take, I know all the words. So does Susan, by the way. And
Okay,
you can
so-
take something like this, anything,
Let me
and you
see.
can pick a size
See?
and put
You
a
can
pretty ribbon,
Right. You can put.
and you're
you-
done wrapping.
There you go.
Voila,
I like that too.
voila, voila.
Those are nice.
And so we have a gray pattern.
Yeah, I like the
I, have
gray.
I did a
I like that. That's
zigzag
what it
pattern.
is.
The next pattern we're doing, folks, is peace signs. Peace signs. We want peace. So should I put it in each
Yeah,
one of these
I
or
don't
just
care. No,
show
no,
it?
no. Just show the
Yeah,
pattern.
Here's the
Yeah.
gray. Here's the gray. Oh, where's
great.
the camera?
So wait.
Here's the gray
yes.
zigzag.
So Muriel, tell us, where can our folks find you so that they can go online and buy the liners?
Okay. The name of this company is Designer Liners. DesignerLiners.com. You can look for Designer Liners on Amazon, where we have a coordinating website called wastebaskets.com, and you can find us either
Oh.
on wastebaskets.com, that's WASTE baskets, BASKETS,
Right.
.com.
Oh, so you have
Then there's a
both.
link to Amazon, links to all over
Right.
the place.
I was going to say, where else could they find you? So they can find you on Amazon,
All right.
and then also
And
the
now-
Circle at
Right.
Delray Beach.
Is it a half?
So a shout out for them.
All right. So,
And that's
yeah,
at
go ahead.
62 South 6th Avenue in Delray Beach. Hi guys. I think they're on the
They're in
they're
a
on
little
Facebook.
yellow house. They have a whole bunch of beautiful. They have really great stuff there. It's great. Not
Oh,
only
okay.
mine. I bought
So
a pocketbook
we need to
there.
check out. We need
Very
to check
nice.
out
Go
the
to
Circle at
Circle.
Delray Beach. Yeah, that
Ask
sounds
for Sean
fabulous.
O'Brien. Tell him Muriel sent you. I'm
so
looking at myself in
funny.
the camera.
So,
And
you know
here are
something?
more patterns. I did gingham, so here's red gingham.
Yeah, that's pretty
for Christmas. And I think that I will. Yeah, this is really pretty. I think we have some gold. Michael, do we still have gold?
too. Oh,
We
okay,
still
good.
have gold. This
Okay,
is
good.
candy apple red.
And
There's
there-
the
this is
camera.
camouflage, you
Candy apple
guys.
red. Oh, I'll open that one.
Camo.
Why don't you open that one?
We have camo too. Please
This
don't
is
forget the
candy
camo.
apple.
I like
And
the
here
camo.
we have, it's leopard. It's not a
Leopard,
camel.
camo. It looks like camo to me.
I thought it looked like a leopard. I thought a leopard was brown. First time I made them, I
No,
made them brown.
it's
They're
leopard.
not that bright.
It's leopard, folks. I'm
And here's
colorblind.
gold. Here we have gold for Christmas as your packing bag, as your designer
Yeah,
liner
that's
bag.
nice too. I really like this.
And these are 12.
Thank you.
And we have 4 polka dots. Please go to my website,
Yes.
designerliners.com.
Absolutely.
Please take a look. If you have any ideas, write to me.
Absolutely,
You know,
please.
you can write to me. I would
yeah,
love
Muriel
that. But don't do it on Twitter because I don't know how to read Twitter.
No, designer
You
liner.
can do it on
Mu-
Facebook. You can
Muriel.
find me.
Designerliners.com.
A little challenged in the computer thing.
No, you're not. You're all good. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
Faith says I'm not.
No,
Okay.
Michael's got it handled. Michael, her husband's got it handled. Don't worry about it.
He
It's all
hates
good.
Twitter.
No, shh. Stop it. We don't hate anything, all right? It's all good.
Oh,
It's all good.
so that's
All right,
the
folks.
story of Muriel
It
Weiner.
is
nice to meet you.
amazing.
It's designerliners.com, wastebaskets.com. My phone number is on there. It is 561-419-8791. Call me there. I work out of my home. Don't call me on the cell. I might be buying lemons.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all
Muriel,
good.
Michael, thank you guys so much for
Thank
joining
you, Faith.
me.
Thank you very much.
You've
This
been
was-
just a delightful guest, and
you are a delightful
I
host.
really,
Would you like some bags?
yes, I do, and I really enjoy the bags. So, folks, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you
tonight.
for listening, guys. Remember integrity.
Here on the Faith Washington Show, we are live on Facebook, Periscope, 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, and the iHeartRadio app. Folks, don't forget to get the Vitalizer app on your phone so that you can vitalize yourself, your water, your wine, your coffee. And John, Vinny, great to see you guys and talk to you today. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Have a great night, folks. See you next week. Same
night.
time. Bye-bye. You've been listening and watching The Faith Washington Show, where we have widened your view of the world. Our guests share their business, family, and fun life hacks to make your world better. Hope you've learned something to apply to your life and business.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.